everyone, I'm Travis Montague, founder and CEO of Holler, and this is Conversation Nation. I'm joined with Tony Weisman, former CMO of Dunkin and CEO of Digitas. Tony, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me out here. It's great.
So you're here at CES, looking at all the new innovations. You got to tell me what you're most excited about.
The things I'm really excited about are, first of all, I think we're just about to be getting really into AR. I think AR has been a toy for a while. It's been things that people have been playing with for a while. So I think in the next few years, you're going to really see it at scale. I think the next thing is you're really going to see the evolution from products to services.
Yeah.
You know, and the ways in which services can really make your life better, particularly as enabled by smartphones.
Well, it's interesting that you talked about smartphones and AR.
Yeah.
And when you're thinking about, so people are thinking about AR in many different facets and on every different devices, but do you believe that the smartphone is still going to be the driver of innovation with respect to AR?
I do, and I think the smartphone has proven itself to be invaluable in people's lives. It's with you all the time. You know, it's interesting when you look at watches and glass and things like that, which I do think will potentially scale soon. Everyone presented them initially as, get rid of your phone. Nobody's gotten rid of their phone.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, they've gotten bigger, heavier, and more connected to them.
Yeah.
Because I think there's just something incredibly personal about it.
So when you're thinking about emerging platforms, there's the camera and then there's messaging. I've always admired the work that Dunkin's been doing that. You've leaned into emerging content formats like stickers and gifts early on.
Yes.
So when you're thinking about the future of messaging as a platform, what are the types of things that you think about in that space?
I think messaging, I mean, we already know it's the single most ubiquitous use of phones. We know it's the most common way people communicate. It's the most personal, human way. It's the one platform in which you don't have to think very hard about punctuation or is my meaning coming through? This is really who I am. I'm absolutely convinced that if you put a gun to most people's heads and you said you can only have one app on your phone, what would it be? It'd be their messaging app, okay? And I think ultimately that's its most powerful the most powerful application. So I'm a big fan of ways that enable people to communicate through messaging more creatively. Let people be creative.
Yeah.
Give them a way to be creative in a way that brings out the natural way in which they want to express themselves.
So when marketers should be thinking about emerging spaces, whether it's a TikTok or a messaging space, what are the kind of key things they should be thinking about from your perspective?
I think the first thing is you really have to embrace and own the idea that interruption is dead. I don't think most marketers have really wrapped their head around that. And I would point you to last night's Golden Globes, which I think is a 3-hour ad for the end of interruption.
Yeah.
Okay? It is just painful to watch that with all the commercial breaks and all the pauses. And in fact, Ricky Gervais, you know, made jokes about, you know, you could stream a whole series during this show. And that was one that cut a little close to home, right? Because NBC makes a lot of money selling ad time. So I think the one thing you've got to embrace is, A, it's about being a part of the content, being a part of the conversation, and B, doing that in an authentic way.
Yeah.
The second thing is much harder to do than it sounds. Everybody uses the word authentic, but people are not willing to let go. And I would say, recognize the talent on TikTok, using your example.
Yeah.
What can they do with your brand? Let them free.
Yeah. So we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
I have a fun question for you.
All right.
What is the last emoji that you used? It can't be a cup of coffee.
It can't be a cup of coffee. No, I just did this yesterday in the context with an exchange with my kids, and it had to do with a celebration, and it was before the Pats lost. It was when it was looking like it was going well.
I always ask that question because there's always a story behind the last emoji.
Right, and stories are everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Well, hey,
I hope you enjoy the rest of your CES.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.